Hello and welcome back to another episode of Professor Natalie Games. I'm Dr. Natalie Van Duzen, and I am a professor at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I am a specialist in Old Norse language, literature, and culture, and I am reacting to God of War Ragnarok with gameplay by the wonderful Cleansed in Fire. So let's get back to it.
What are you thinking, brother?
I am thinking. I want things to be the way they were.
Well, I'd like to climb a tree again. Certain ships have sailed.
I just wish Atreus were not so restless. I care only for his safety.
I know, brother. But holding him too tight won't keep him out of danger. The lad's determined to make a few mistakes of his own. And I hate to say it, I think Tyr might be one of them. I've never seen a man broken so completely.
His pain is fresh. You expect too much.
Aye, perhaps. Pity Freya still wants to kill you. That's an ally we could use.
That is not an option.
No, I don't suppose it is.
Trouble sleeping. Ah! Shh. You cannot sneak up on me like that. There's something I have to do in Midgard.
What? Without me? I thought we were partners.
We are, just wasn't sure you'd want to join me. I'm visiting an old friend.
Oh, I see. Or possibly not doing that, taking into account she's determined to murder you.
She wouldn't really.
Look, I think it's lovely that you see the best in people. I really do. And I want you to continue to see the best in people by not getting yourself murdered.
But we need her. It's worth the risk.
Is it, though? How about I suggest an alternative? Something much less risky, but maybe could give you some answers.
What are you talking about?
A certain old friend you haven't seen in a while. A very giant friend.
Jormungandr? Did you find him?
Why don't I show you? It's just on the way to the vengeful goddess who wants you dead, so it'll give us some time to decide about not going there.
So, you know where Freya is?
No. I mean, yes, but look, let's just talk to the snake first, and then I won't take you to Freya. How's that sound?
So just stopping here to point out that I really like that Sindri is referring to Jormungandr, or the Midgard serpent, as a snake. I have talked about this before, but the idea of dragons in Old Norse worldviews seem to be much more like that of a giant serpent, rather than a sort of Romanesque dragon that's winged and breathes fire and all of that. So in a lot of more contemporary English translations, and even older ones too, words that are translated to dragon probably better represent something like Jormungandr or the Midgard serpent, which is a giant snake.
Glad you brought your key of Yggdrasil. I seem to have dashed out without mine.
Huh. You got sick of having house guests that fast?
What? No. I could just use some fresh air, is all.
Well, I hope you like it cold.
Should we swing by your cabin first? Will your furry friend be joining us this time?
No. I meant to tell you. Fenrir's dead.
Oh. I'm very sorry to hear that. As wolves go, he was always very clean.
Thanks.
I'd offer to give you a hug, but why traumatize either of us further? Okay. Caught a whiff of something awful near the Helheim Tower. Remember how to get there?
Yep, just past the oarsman. But that's what makes you think Jormungandr's nearby?
I know what I smelled.
Okay. Well, a lot's kinda happened, and I need answers.
The Alpha, so, what's been going on?
So, Father said I cast a spell when Fenrir died, but I don't know what he's talking about.
Accidental magic? That is disquieting.
Accidental magic's not all. I sort of turned into a bear.
A bear? Including the slobber?
Yeah, but I lost control. Ray knows magic better than anyone. She could help me.
But not giant magic.
Fine. We'll do it your way then, Sin. A huge venomous snake seems much safer.
It's... venomous?
Different angle. So, Tyr's arm.
Your father owed Thor a blood payment. And, well, he got it.
Wow, great story.
Anyway, is that likely to happen again? Sudden, uncontrolled bear rampage?
Beats me. We've got company. Got my back?
They're literally made of filth. I'm not touching...
Who said you need to touch them?
I like the way you think. Okay, here goes nothing!
Jumper! Herbaruta! Thanks for sacrificing so many objects from your bag of tricks.
Well, you clearly need the help.
Oh, whatever. Shoot. I think the lift switch is broken. You can fix it, can't you? Or does your brother have all the talent after all?
Depends. Is your father all the muscle?
If I say yes, you realize you're confirming Brock has all the talent?
There! Let's get going.
So I just wanted to point out really quickly that the strategy that Loki just used, or Atreus Loki just used on Sindri, is a very common tactic that you find in the sagas and in the mythology as well, in legendary sagas, all of that. In Old Norse society, sort of calling into question whether someone's capable of doing something, usually by insinuating that a man is anything less than a man, in turn then kind of compels him to have to prove that indeed he is a man and capable of doing things. Usually it has something to do with honor, right? So somebody kills somebody in your family, and you know the men in the household who are responsible for taking the blood vengeance are slow to avenge the death. Usually the women of the household will kind of egg them on or goad them by kind of questioning their capabilities to in fact exact vengeance and restore honor to their household. Which then, means that they have to go and prove that they are indeed capable, thereby restoring honor. So in a way, we're kind of seeing a little bit of that here, this idea of, well, comparing him to Brock and asking whether he has all the talent as a way of sort of getting him to do the thing, and then him in turn questioning Atreus in relation to his father. I see it very much within that context.
Why are you worrying so much today?
I just need to look out for the people I care about. Keeps bad things from happening to them.
Freya wouldn't kill me. And Jormungandr's probably not even there. Besides, he likes me. He's only eaten me once.
I had conveniently scrubbed that from my memory.
Well, we're here. Told you he's gone.
Well, have you tried calling him?
Blowing the horn's the first thing we tried.
I'm not talking about the horn.
Yormuteyum Senu.
That's not weird at all. Shh.
or anything. Good talk. Ironwood. What do you think it means?
Means we should have stayed home. Let's head back.
Door's frozen. Maybe I can... Ah!
Would you just let me do it? So what was your plan anyway? Just stroll up to the old Valkyrie Council circle and hope Freya's in a good mood?
Well, now that I know where she is, yeah, exactly what I'm gonna do.
Fuck. Don't tell Brock I cursed. He's unbearable when he's smug.
Look, Baldur tried to kill her. We had no choice.
Not sure she sees it that way.
Well, I'm not gonna ask her. Besides, they were your arrows.
You're absolutely right, which is exactly why I'm recommending we don't do this. Well, that's quite enough excitement for one day.
No way. We're so close.
Oh dear. Maybe this is a sign.
Don't be a baby. I'll catch you. Promise not to drop you this time. Fine. Just step between the realms then.
You know it doesn't work that way. Though, sweet Bessla, I wish it did.
See? Was that so bad?
I sincerely hope I never have to do it again, if that's what you're asking. My shop! Well, if I can't stop you, then this is as far as I go. I'm gonna stay and fix this.
Suit yourself.
You sure you want to go in there wearing the very arrow tip that killed her son?
I'll hide it under my shirt. And besides, it's a reminder to be better.
You need a murder weapon to be a better person?
It makes me feel brave, okay? Is that such a bad thing?
When it leads you to believe you can convince Freya of anything, yes, it is.
I have to try.
Are you sure this is a good idea? You haven't got a plan.
Brock says some people run better on chaos. I think he's right.
What makes you think that applies here? This is life and death.
And this is Ragnarok. We can't just do nothing, and we're out of options.
Living is an option.
Okay, so I really like that they said that about chaos, because I think that's one of the kind of prevailing theories about Loki, is that Loki is chaos incarnate. So there's been all kinds of theories about who Loki is, what Loki represents throughout, the last couple hundred years in scholarship on Norse mythology. But the idea that he's a trickster figure and that he really is chaos incarnate is, I think, one of my favorite theories about him, and I think is what best kind of represents his actions and the stories about him in the mythology. So I think that was significant.
Man, if Father could see me now, he would lose it. I wouldn't have to hide things if he'd just trust me. How can I trust you if you lie? Actually, that's a good point. Maybe if you listen to me. Could I not say the same? Well, where do you think I learned it from? Wonder what Mom would do. Why don't you trust her? Why won't you tell me?
Is that you up there?
Hello down there.
Hey! Come to your senses yet?
Yes. I'm not changing my mind.
Ha! You do have doubts. Hey!
Like you never do? Better than having regrets.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but by all means, keep going and you might find those too.
Yep, that's the door. Hey, Freya. What? Anti-paying old friend a visit? Nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, just because I'm responsible for the death of your son doesn't mean... Okay, yeah. Should probably avoid mentioning that. Is that Freya? Am I wearing this around my neck? The arrow tip that killed your son? That's a great question. I'm so dead. Here goes nothing. Freya!
You should have stayed with Sindri.
Wait! Stop!
Your father. Where is he?
Not here!
He sent you?
No! He doesn't know!
You shouldn't have come. He took my son. What makes you think I won't do the same?
You're better than this!
You would stake your life on it? What do you know of me?
I know you haven't killed me yet. So while you're thinking it over, why don't you let me go and I can tell you why I came?
You mean to plead for your father, save your breath. His fate is sealed.
But you know who's to blame for everything.
I cannot get to Odin. Nor do I need to. Ragnarok will take him.
Yeah? Well, what if I told you that he came to Midgard? He came to us. Offered peace if we don't move against him. Claims Ragnarok's already been averted.
He lies.
Maybe. But if you know Groa's prophecy, you know it depends on an army of giants.
The giants wait for war in Jotunheim.
No. I've been there. There is no giant army. There are no giants at all. Just me.
You.
In Jotunheim, you learn the truth. My mother was the last guardian of our people in Midgard. And that's not all. The giants have prophecies about me. They know me as Loki. I think maybe I'm supposed to help stop Odin, somehow. But since all the giants are dead and you won't fight Odin, then you've already won. Why aren't we working together? Now that you can fight again!
I am far from whole.
Okay. Okay. But we found Tyr. Maybe if you spoke to him...
Tyr's alive?
Yeah. We broke him out of Svartalfheim.
Impossible. The 9 realms are closed to all.
No. We opened up the way. We just don't know where to go next. But if we all band together...
Enough. Enough! Leave this place. Go. Go and do not return. Go before I change my mind. Do not expect the same mercy for your father.
Okay, so I'm not dead. I didn't get any answers. So this all might have just been a very big waste of time. Which I will never, ever admit to Sindri.
Oh, thank Amir. You're all right. How did it go? I was starting to think...
Sindri, I told you I could handle it. But I don't think she's gonna help us.
Where's your necklace?
Huh? Oh! I was thinking and I, got rid of it.
She took it, didn't she? Today was your lucky day. So, tell me, how did it feel to run on chaos?
I
just fixed that! I'll repair it later. Let's get out of here before something else tries to kill us.
Yeah, good idea.
Hate to bring it up, but are we telling your dad about this? Since you've come clean and all.
No way! He'd kill you.
Right. Well, speaking of coming clean, I need your opinion on something. Something I've kept from my brother for a long time. I'll tell you on the way back. Come on.
Okay, back to Alfheim Tower. You were saying?
Long before you were born, there was an accident at the forge. Brock died. I couldn't accept it. I went to the Lake of Souls in Alfheim to steal him back. Legions of souls tried to stop me. I can still feel them crawling all over my skin. Thing is, I could only get 3 of his 4 soul parts back.
Sindri.
Brock just thought he got knocked out. I've been lying to him ever since. It's been eating at me lately.
You have to tell him. He has a right to know. Anyway, you did a good thing. You saved Brock's life. I caused trouble.
No. I made a choice. One that wasn't mine to make.
What do you mean? A choice?
I couldn't be alone. The other dwarves, when they saw him, they shunned us. So we left. Made our own home.
Well, you can't change the past, but it doesn't have to be who you are. Let's go home before Father wakes up.
That might be the best idea you've had all night. Trey.
Trey?
It's an... Shut up. So I'm not allowed to give you a nickname?
Is that what that was?
Whatever, Loke. Nope, that was worse. Ugh, and I heard it when I said it. All right. Shall we?
I hate coming home empty-handed. After Tyr was such a failure, just wanted
Now
to...
hang on, little Jotun. Tyr may not be everything you expected, but a failure? You saved him from a terrible fate. That's not nothing. And hey, maybe he'll be some help to us yet.
Maybe. But Father's not gonna go along with this forever. He's probably already got our next hiding place all picked out.
Well, let's not make it worse by getting caught. When we get there, I'll cover our tracks at the gateway and slip around back, and you just act natural, but quickly. Go, go, go.
That is not the risk that concerns me. Do we trust the path they would put us on?
I trust their wisdom, and this is the closest thing to hearing directly from them.
You are certain the Giants would not counsel war?
I said that they were wise. In my experience, that goes with being peaceful.
Oh, little brother. Told you we needn't worry.
Atreus, Where have you been?
Pee?
Hope you're all hungry.
I could eat.
Is everyone as well rested as I am? Be right down.
Is this sausage?
Sure. Why not?
I remember food tasting better.
I suppose you'd like to try cooking for this lot.
I accept.
What? Atreus, we're planning our next move.
Oh, so where are we going?
Alfheim. Home of the elves.
Alfheim? You hate Alfheim. Why would we move there?
Who there? Oh, we are seeking information.
The Shrine of Groa, young one. Your father tells me you found it there.
Groa? The Knowledge Keeper? Oh, maybe there's a secret there I can unlock.
Aye. Who better than the seer who saw everything?
I wasn't sure you, Never mind.
That's great. Alfheim.
Hey, don't go forgetting this what'll get you there.
You know what? I'm gonna build a bigger table.
More for me.
Tyr, you're really up for coming with us?
I am. Whenever you're ready. Well, whenever your father's ready, I should say. If my counsel might help you towards the answers you seek, it's the least I can do to repay you. Plus, I think it will do me well to see the light of Alfheim again.
That elf light is some good shit.
All right, so another really great segment with some really amazing dialogue. It was awesome to get to revisit Freya, and I really enjoyed the interchange between her and Atreus. And really kind of this like parental worry is something that is coming up pretty strong. And it's been really interesting to sort of see the shifting dynamic between Atreus and Kratos. And, you know, very normal sorts of thoughts for a parent, the things that he's worrying about Atreus. So, and then the morning that you see with Freya. So we have this kind of, you know, underlying theme of parent-child relationships that even though we're in this kind of universe of Norse mythology, of gods, of serpents, of dwarves, and of these various supernatural creatures, we have these kind of fundamental relationships that are really relatable, I think. So I really like that. And as always, I really enjoy Sindri. I'm a nervous person myself, and so I relate to him quite a lot. And I really enjoyed the pairing of Atreus and Sindri in this bit. So I commented on a few things during the video, but one thing I wanted to kind of come back to, which I know I've addressed in previous videos, is Groa. So Groa gets mentioned in this part a couple of times. So Groa is indeed a seeress or a prophetess, and she's mentioned within the context of Snorri's Prose Edda in the section called Skaldskaparmal, or the language of poetry. And this is a section of Snorri's Edda where he is basically telling myths in order to explain why things are referred to in specific ways in poetry, because that poetic language relies so heavily on mythology. And really that's kind of the purpose of Snorri writing all of the myths down in the first place. He's writing in the 13th century, a couple hundred years after the conversion to Christianity. But the poetic system is so heavily dependent on mythological knowledge and references to the mythology that it's important for him to kind of tell what these myths are, to explain why things are referred to in certain ways within poetry. So a lot of the myths we have are because Snorri decided poetry was so important that he needed to be able to retell these myths in order to explain to poets who were looking back at earlier poetry and who were creating new poetry why things are referred to in ways that they are, which often reference the mythology. So there is a myth in which Thor has a duel with a Jotun named Hrungnir, and during that duel, which Thor wins, he ends up getting a whetstone or part of a whetstone wedged in his forehead. Or I guess it is an entire whetstone. So what happens is he is wedged in his forehead, he's won the duel, and he can't get it out. So what happens is Thor ends up going to see this seeress or this prophetess named Groa. And Groa sings charms over Thor in order to loosen the whetstone over him. But what ends up happening is that he wants to reward her for doing this, and he distracts her so much and throws her kind of off in such a way that the entire whetstone does not come out, and a piece of whetstone still remains in Thor's head. So that's who Groa is in the mythology and where she's referenced. So it is an actual figure from the sources, and she is indeed a prophetess or a seeress. And so that was cool to see her referenced a couple of different times. And I also made sure to put some text explaining some of the other figures that Sindri refers to, Bestla and Ymir, as well as some translations of the Old Norse. The language that Jörmungandr uses is really interesting because it seems to be partly Old Norse and partly not. So I think that's really cool, and I would like to know a little bit more about sort of the creation of the language that he uses and that he uses with Atreus. And remember also that Jörmungandr is one of Loki's well, I guess 4 children. He has more children than that, but he has 3 children with a giantess named Angerboda, whom I understand we will be meeting in this game, and they are destined to cause nothing but misfortune for the Aesir. And so these children are Jörmungandr, the Midgard serpent, they are Fenrir the wolf, and they are also Hel. So the 3 of them, the Aesir decide they need to deal with them. They make Hel the head of the underworld. That's how they deal with her. And so she is both Hel is both a figure and a place. She rules over that realm of the dead. And then, of course, we have Jörmungandr, the Midgard serpent, who is thrown into the water encircling Midgard, and who famously is big enough to encircle the entire realm, biting on his own tail. And then Fenrir the wolf. And this is where the myth of Tyr losing his hand comes into the picture, which I referred to last time when I expressed some surprise that Tyr had both hands, which I guess was kind of a little bit explained here, but I understand will be explained further later. So the myth is that they needed to bind Fenrir, and they had to bind him with a very special kind of binding that was made magically, and he was naturally mistrustful of the gods and what they were doing, and the only person or god who was brave enough to actually approach Fenrir was Tyr. Successfully bound him, got his hand bitten off. So that's how Tyr loses his hand in the mythology. Yeah. Continuing on, we will see what happens next. I'm curious if anybody can explain to me why Tyr's eyes are glowing, or at least let me know that that's something that's going to be explained. That's something I've been wondering about both this episode and during the last one as well. And yeah, thank you again to Cleansed in Fire for the fantastic gameplay, and I look forward to seeing what happens next. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the chat. I try to get to all of them if I can, and really enjoy having these conversations with you, and hope that you learned something new as you watch this gameplay footage with my commentary. We'll see you next time.